Hello. So, you might hear something in the background for the first portion of this podcast, and that is a live news feed because I'm trying to, stay up to date on what's happening. Today is January 6th, 2021, and there are some really crazy things happening right now at the White House. And I think this is important to talk about. I don't really have any, credibility, or I'm not a professional. I am not like a historian or a politician or anyone. I am just an American citizen who is affected by these types of events, these terrorist attacks that are happening, because I've been seeing so many people being like, call it what it is, call them terrorists, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? This is just gone on for so long. I don't understand how people are still calling them protesters when they're armed, they're storming our capital. There has been, as of right now, one person who has been shot. They're just, it's insane. And I've seen a lot of information out there, and I'm trying to sift through it and make sure that I am getting credible sources and making sure that I'm double checking what I'm reading. And like I said, I'm not going to make any super bold claims here. I mean, you can go ahead and be shocked that I am left leaning and that I am more liberal in my beliefs, but like, surprise, I'm an artist and I'm a musician and I live in the state of New York, and I live, an hour away from New York City. So these types of issues are extremely prevalent. It's not like I'm in the middle of the country, or in Alaska or something, where these kinds of things don't affect anything. And I don't necessarily even really know what's going on in Alaska, but you know what I mean. So I'm not going to make any insane points about this. I just want to let everybody know that I think these things are important to have discussions about. I think that everybody needs to, if you are an American citizen especially, you need to understand that democracy as we know it has been put on the line of fire. People are very upset about this past election, and I've seen pictures of people who have made like t-shirts that say Civil War 2021, and they want riots, they want to overturn things, they want Trump to be president. They think it was a scam. They think the whole thing was a joke, and in reality, you just lost. And it's terrifying that some people, some Republican higher-ups, are defending this recount, and they want, they think it's an injustice, and they're using the political system to try and find out where the injustice occurred and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just, oh my God. And, listen, if you don't want to hear my political thoughts, don't worry. I'm not going to be talking about this terribly much longer. But also, think about in yourself why you might not want to hear about political things. Are you really analyzing within yourself, oh, I just don't want to hear about it. Roll my eyes and give a shrug, like, oh, I'm so sick of it. Oh my God, like, get over it. Like, that is privilege, and you must realize that, the fact that you are able to ignore things or not engage in them, or you're just able to say, oh, I just don't want to talk about politics. Yuck, that's a big issue. And I think that's what creates a lot of divide, is this lack of communication, this lack of understanding. I mean, I speak for myself. And say, when I was growing up and when I was in high school and when I was trying to understand what politics were and what was going on, I was so confused. And I thought it was just this fun, argument game that you could just engage in, and people would get fired up and it would be fun, and you could have arguments and you could argue about things, and you could just pick a side, and you could be like, haha, yeah, I love arguing about politics because, everybody gets excited and we have this big heated conversation and it's really fun. And I would usually just kind of hear something that somebody I knew was saying, and I did not know what I was talking about. You know what I mean? People just kind of jump on the bandwagon about things, and it comes from a place of misunderstanding and a place of wanting to be in control and wanting to have this upper hand, this imaginary upper hand that comes with knowing something or being right. And it's all culminating now, and there are some extremists in this country who are, really, really, really just un-American. And that's something that I will stand by. When you're flying the Confederate flag in the Capitol building, you're literally going to bring it in there and fly that flag. That to me is a big red flag, as it is. And again, stems from ignorance, stems from misunderstanding. Why would you want that flag? It's so un-American. It's unbelievable. And I'm not going to sit here and explain it because, resources that are better at explaining things than I exist. And you should look those things up if you think that I am saying things that are not, what you agree with. But you can't disagree with the facts of the Confederacy. Just like you can't disagree with the facts that Joe Biden is the elected president and there was no miscount. There was no 11,000 something votes that are fraudulent and whatever, or missing, or blah, blah, blah. It's just ridiculous. And it's just a scramble at a coup, basically. So, that being said, I will be moving on from this for now, just because whilst this is not a political podcast, I am, if you know this podcast at all, I am a person who created this podcast so that I could document my life and have an outlet, a creative outlet for each day. And this is what's happening today. So I'm here to tell you about it. But something else that happened today that was before all of this and actually happened in the morning, and if you listened at all to yesterday's podcast, it is in tandem with yesterday's podcast. So what happened was yesterday, listen to yesterday's, it's like a 5-minute thing, it's really quick. I think I titled it, I Can't Do This Today or something, and I really couldn't. I had gone to a hair salon because I have been really wanting to change my appearance. I've been going through some very traumatic life events in the past couple of months on top of COVID. So I wanted to change things up, and I researched this salon, and they had good reviews, and they, even on their website, gave a lot of information about how they follow COVID precautions, and I called them and spoke to them about how they follow COVID precautions, And when I went in, I was reassured. They took my temperature. I had to sign a form. I was the only one in the salon for the majority of my time there yesterday and also today. And yeah, yesterday, ooh, girl, they did me dirty, you know? Like, I wanted like a balayage, which is like color or like bleach, you know, like lightening on the bottoms and not on the tops. Kind of like an ombre, like lighter on the bottom, darker on the top. But it's a very specific technique, and you know, that's what I wanted. I looked it up and that's what I wanted. And I brought in these pictures, as you do when you go to a place. Brought in these pictures, showed them, and I came out of there with like big chunky 2000s highlights that were like insane. They were right up to the root, right up in the front of my face, a lot of blonde. It was just not what I wanted in the slightest. So, cried all last night, woke up at like 3 a.m. because I couldn't sleep, was freaking out. It was a rough day yesterday. And I know that sounds really dramatic, and in a way it is, but when you don't change your appearance for basically your entire life, and then you give your appearance, you give those reins to somebody else, and you release control, and then it goes so poorly that you look ridiculous and it's permanent. You know, you can't get rid of bleach. I was just like spinning into a tailspin, and like that is to me acceptable behavior because it was atrocious. And I made a plan to go back in the morning and have them change it and, you know, make it better. So I went in the morning, and actually I went an hour early. On Google Maps it said it was open at 9, but on their website I guess they changed it because of COVID. They shortened their hours, so they were open at 10. So I had a little morning to myself. I was driving around with a hat on. Don't you worry, girl, I was not showing any of that. And I had to change my work schedule because I needed to get this done today. I cannot go to work like that. You know, I was not able to go into work, so I had to coordinate with my boss and reschedule my hours basically, and that was all fine. Get there, and I go in, and at first they didn't recognize me, and I was like, "Hey, it's me. I was here last night." And they're like, "Oh, yeah," and I'm like, I just break down in tears basically. I'm like, "Listen, I cannot do this. You know, I need to change it." And luckily there was a different stylist there today, which is wonderful because she was actually phenomenal. Her name is Maria. If you're ever in Stony Brook and you go to the Blue Salon and Spa, I highly recommend Maria. She was just great. She was super good and like super nice, fixed my hair right the heck up. And here we are. So that was a good thing that happened today. And then I went, and what else did I do? You know what? I've got to do some practicing, you guys. These past couple of days, especially with all of this hair nonsense, and today with this political drama, I've been pretty consumed, and I need to get back on. I think when I'm done with this podcast, I think the first order of business is going to be to run an aria or two. Well, obviously warm up first. Do not just run through your arias. If you are a young singer listening to this, do not just run through your music, please. So I'll warm up and I'll do a couple things, and because it's only about 7:00. I don't know how you guys feel about practicing at night, but I'm usually not a fan. So, yeah, we'll see. But I also got some new little plants today. Some of them are clippings from other plants that I have, and some of them are brand new. I got a new ivy plant, And I also got little, unfortunately, I had to get little sticky fly papers because there's been some gnats in here. Like, I don't know what the deal is with that girl, but oof. Yeah, they're everywhere. So, and I'm not like gonna open my windows and stuff. It's literally January. Also, I wanted to comment on this thing that everybody should know about. Like, here's the deal, you guys. Looking at my plants right now, I'm looking at all the greenery in front of me, and one of those green items is a planter full of scallions. And if you do not take your scallion nubs, like the bottom with like the little roots on it, and you cut off the bottom, right? You use the green part. If you do not take those scallion nubs and you do not plant them or put them in water, you are just living your life incorrectly. Like, I'm going to say it to you because no one else will. Scallions are unlimited. Scallions, you will literally put them in a cup of water and you will see like an inch of growth within a 24-hour period. Scallions are unlimited. You must grow your scallion nubs. Cut the bottoms off of your scallions, put them in some water, or better yet, put them in some soil, soak those guys up. They love some good water. And then then just watch your unlimited scallions unfold before you. These dogs agree, if you can hear them. It's just crazy to me. It's literally insane. Everybody should be taking advantage of these unlimited scallions. It's the way. It's like my religion right now. Unlimited scallions is my religion. Ooh, we've got some doggies barking. Uh-oh. I always listen in when they start barking in the house because usually there's like, I don't know, there's something going on. And I'm like, I want to know. Usually they get a little lecture. They're like, come on, stop barking. We talked about this. Knock it off. And I'm like, oh, I bet you have talked about this. I have heard you talk to them about this barking. You're right. They're in the wrong here. So yeah, you guys. Oh, I also check this out. I'm literally picking it up as to show somebody. But, okay, so this came in the mail today. I invested in some, like, stationery thing. So, basically what it is, it's specific candles, like little candle waxes with, like, long specific wicks, and they're very, like, metallic or matte looking candles. But they're meant to be wax seals on letters. And if you know me, I love to send a good letter. I'm all about it. And like what is more classy and just amazing and like medieval than a wax seal? Oh my god, just chef's kiss to the wax seal. I have a little press. It's this little metal foot thing, and it's actually got like an S curved into it. S for Schneider, that's my last name, if you didn't know. And yeah, it's just amazing. You just press it right into, like, you literally turn into like a 13th century lady in waiting, like sending a piece of mail to her, fiance. I don't know, that was a terrible story, but that's how I feel, if you can picture it. And I got, literally, there's like tons of colors. Like, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 26 different colors. So I love sending mail. I actually just got a new book of stamps because I feel like there's a big pull for me as a person. I like to send mail to people. I don't necessarily know why. I feel like it makes me feel good knowing that they're going to like pick up a letter and be like, "Oh, a letter from Heidi. That's kind of weird." Like you may or may not have just spoken to me, that day or a couple days ago. And I don't know, I just like, there's a lot of, like sending letters to my grandparents. I like sending letters to other elderly people in my life because I know that they enjoy it and they find, charm in that. And I do too. Girl, I love me a wax seal, okay? So knowing that somebody's gonna enjoy a wax seal when I put one on there is like, oh, love it. I also just heard on my little live stream breaking news thing that I'm watching. Also, just so we're all clear on what I am listening to, I am currently listening to KTLA 5. I believe that's probably an LA news source. But I'm listening to it because I do not have cable. I do not have a TV. I just use either my computer or my phone. And right now I'm on YouTube watching live updates because they have some live feeds, clearly. That's what I'm listening to. So just in case you're wondering what sources I'm using, that's the one. And I'm not exactly sure what's going on right now, but I'm sure that if you're an educated citizen or you're trying to be informed, then you already know. So, yeah, you guys. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else special going on. I don't think so. I think this is it. I think this is just the end of the world. Just kidding. LOL. Don't be sad. Oh my god, I'm so funny. Honestly, sometimes I think that I'm the only person who thinks that I'm hilarious, and I think that might be true. When I say things like that, like, and I just say them, and I'm literally, like, saying the dumbest stuff, like, I don't even know what's coming out of my mouth sometimes. I'm like, man, I am just, like, hilarious. I can't get over it. Like, oh, God, I'm just rolling out the hits, zinger after zinger. Can't stop me. Like, oh, God. And honestly, I didn't say anything that funny just now, but, like, oh, girl, sometimes you better watch out. Ew. Anyway, I think I'm going to get back to doing some things. I really do need to practice, so I'm gonna let you go, okay? And yeah, thanks for everybody who said some things to me yesterday when I was in turmoil. I really do appreciate it, and all is well now on the home front. Thank you. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your support. And yeah, you guys, I hope you're having a nice day despite all of this. I know it's really difficult when, terrible things happen in our country. Like, the past 4 years have been kind of just crisis after crisis. But I do hope that you can find some kind of peace or relief or enjoyment in the small things in your life. I had a really, really good cup of coffee today, and that's saying something because I do not like coffee. I do not like it. And I get upset at events like this. When I have a really good cup of coffee, I get upset because it's like, dang it. Now I'm going to be like searching for this, and I'm going to be like seeking it out in my daily life. Like, oh my God. So that was frustrating. But you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to make myself a little cup of tea. How about that? I got a new tea kettle from my dad for Christmas, and I can put it right on the stove. Love that. So I think I'm going to go do that. So I hope you guys are having a great day. If you have been enjoying this podcast daily, or you listen to it every once in a while and you're stumbling upon this episode, thanks for listening. I really do appreciate you. I know that if you're skipping around, these are probably the most random collections of information that could ever exist. So, yeah, I appreciate you listening, though. Even though it's very bizarre and I feel like sometimes I'm saying things that are not making sense or whatever. But I will say, little spoiler, not spoiler, little teaser, I should say. Teaser for the next couple episodes. We've got some guests on the horizon, you guys. Tomorrow we have a guest. I believe Friday we also have a guest. And if all things go well, I think Saturday we also have a guest. So we've got some guests coming up. And we're going to have some good old-fashioned chats with them. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, night, whenever you're listening to this. And I hope that you have a wonderful existence for the rest of your life. Because right now it kind of seems like the world is ending. Just kidding. That was very dramatic. But, yeah, you guys, thanks so much for listening. If you like this podcast, the Paper Soprano podcast, go ahead and give this video a like. Give it a comment if you feel so compelled. If you comment something political, I probably won't respond to that just because I feel like there's a lot of discourse. I don't know if that's the right term, but a lot of that kind of interaction on the internet, and we just don't really need much of that. So feel free to comment if you feel compelled. But anyway, I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to make myself a cup of tea. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Love you. Mean it. And okay, bye.